Howdy folks, this is the Command Line Vulpine here, and welcome to Let's Play Star Trek Resurgence. If you don't know, I'm actually a pretty big Star Trek nerd. I've actually been meaning to do some like Star Trek review type stuff on the channel, but I just keep procrastinating on that one. But this is a new Star Trek game, which there hasn't been one of these for quite some time actually, so I'm kind of excited to jump into this. That said, this is one of those games that has a very bad PC port situation going on. The screen resolution, I'm not going to click it because I'm actually running like another program to force this into 1440p. There is no 1440p option. There's like a 16 by 10 1440p option, but not a 16 by 9 1440p option. There's no frame rate options. Apparently it's even running at 30 FPS, not even 60, which is weird because usually when games are, oh yeah, actually just even going into the window messed that up. 1 second. Yeah, so if you run the software, just force this into 1440p. Don't even go to the settings because it seems like it's automatically trying to go back to 1080p. Do an empty slot and let's begin. This is more of like a story-based game compared to like some of the other Star Trek games that have been like strategy games. More like your Walking Dead type of game. Oh yeah, that's 30 FPS, all right. You can just tell by the pixels.
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4.
Game's a little quiet. My bad.
The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable.
I barely lowered the max volume, but I can't hear it at all.
In this case, change is good.
They even left voiceover volume as high as possible. Unfortunately, I'll probably minimize.
Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
Is that a Bajoran forehead? I wasn't able to tell. Ooh, right trigger. I don't have the controller, man. Why does it say trigger? Do I need to use my controller? That's gonna be a problem because one of my buttons on my controller doesn't work.
Thanks.
No problem.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this.
That's not
I have.
that encouraging.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's...
Maybe it is. I was impacted by the things you say. Maybe picking up that, catching that with the right trigger wouldn't have been the right thing to do. Who knows?
I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
I need to move Command Line Vulpine to the right, but if I click off the window, we'll have more issues.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this.
This is a story-based game, though. I don't know if we're ever going to get a pause point.
Cadet at Starfleet Academy. She'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
I can't. Oh, yeah, I can. Okay. 1 minute.
Hour like this.
All right. I think we were somewhere around here. It made me restart from 0. Apparently, it doesn't like constantly autosave, so we'll have to be aware of that. other controller didn't work, so we're just kind of hoping that we're not going to need the right bumper, but it's also letting me use the keyboard now, and it wasn't letting me use the keyboard before, so I don't know about that. So, Nova class. That was probably the autosave. Probably should have waited for that autosave before I did anything. The motion blur. Oh no, it looks so bad, man. Oh god, the motion blur.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
I'm moving my mouse stick very gently because this motion blur is nauseating.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
So we're in like Voyager era, post Voyager, post Nemesis, but before
Please place your hand here.
Picard, based on the badges and uniforms.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
Well, now you know. Keep your eyes and ears open and you might pick up on things.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
She's not Bajorn, by the way.
Resolute.
Showed different DNA on the monitor, even though I couldn't see it. Jeez. RTX 3080, by the way. Oh my god. Is there really no way to turn it off? Ship repairs. Resolute. Looks like, what's the name of the Centaur class, I think. Yeah, I can't like read any of the text unless I stand completely still. Someone said there was, oh my gosh. Let's see if there's anything interesting to read, but not easy to read.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
A little bit of a
You're going to the Resolute too?
unusual way to phrase it.
Are you all
That
right?
was weird.
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here.
I got the
Resolute is
subtitles are
leaving
messed
this
up.
dock.
Oh, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
Be careful with your hand, man. know they had to explain what a bullion is for people who aren't familiar with Star Trek. It was just her way of phrasing it was odd.
Excuse me, have you seen a bullion around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks. I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me.
Really had to load that?
Welcome to the edge of the
Why did it have to load that?
I'm Commander Jan Ermont, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now.
It was perfectly fine. No trouble at all.
I'm glad to hear it. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most
Post-Dominion War?
Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said, we're very lucky. The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could
I'm gonna check the INI file next time it autosaves and see if we can change anything. Apparently you can change the FPS in there, but it'll drop back to 30 every time there's a cutscene, so.
At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
With hundreds of crew members aboard the ship, it could have been so much worse.
True, but you never think about it that way. You can't help but replay events in your head and think about the things you could have done instead.
Foreshadowing?
Listen, I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotar
Guessing
region. I'll let the captain
I don't
brief
know
you
what that
on
means
board.
exactly yet.
I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Looks like an autosave. Wait till the next time there's not like a cutscene going on.
I got just the thing.
Do I know my Star Trek enough? I mean, this looks like the plasma torch to me. Yeah. What? Okay. It's not what I thought it was going for there.
Is that?
What I meant by the D-pad is press anything on the D-pad. I pressed right on it. I don't know. Lower decks. Looks a bit 3D to be the lower decks.
I thought the thing was totally fried. Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
I mean, this is a free form, but I haven't seen the save game button, so how would I run?
So clean I can see myself.
Well, I would move that.
And you know what? Not half bad.
Come on.
I thought it might be like a tripping hazard or something, so I should get it out of the way.
These are heavier than they look.
Carter
Makes
Diaz.
no sense in zero G. You're welcome.
Someone probably would have tripped over it and died in a cutscene later. Ugh.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovak called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds.
Ah, what's the matter, Neely? Afraid of a little hard work?
A little hard work? Really? A little? 6 months of putting this ship back together is a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and here we are. Just about ready to go.
All right, that was a save. So I will be right back once again. We're back. I installed a
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
mod that the fans
We
made.
were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late.
It looks like the FPS is faster now.
Which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edzelar on repeated occasions.
Well, Commander Chovak, isn't it true that if we were almost late, it categorically means that we were not late?
That is correct, Mr. Diaz.
I mean, if anything, Edzelar and I are following the schedule to the letter.
Yes, perhaps I should adjust the schedule accordingly.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready. We've got the best chief engineer in the fleet.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovak. All hands on deck.
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out, and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule.
It all comes down to us, Nilly. We're the ones who will get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa.
Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt.
See the characters bounce.
Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute,
Jeez.
so I figured I'd...
I think the animations being broke might be my fault though from the mod.
Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Here.
Feeling it won't be a quick little spacewalk.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go. See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
If I can up my controller sensitivity. I'm scared to go into the options menu now though. All right, let's figure out if our... Oh no, we're still... Still kind of in a cutscene here, or not?
Have you never gets old.
Let's go.
All hands.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Make yourself at home in the captain's room? That doesn't seem quite right. Oh yeah, That's no motion blur. That might be a little bit of motion blur. That might just be 60 FPS instead of. I clearly don't need to increase my frame rate.
Can't wait.
Or not my frame rate, my sensitivity, because now it seems pretty high.
Just a sip of something. Tea. That's lovely.
Jara Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the Academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't really know the details.
Starfleet has been kind enough to keep the story contained. Probably because they want to protect me. But I don't mind telling you. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career? Right there. Within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make. And I have to live with the consequences.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. 2 previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of the rendezvous.
Who is the senior diplomat we're escorting?
That I don't know. Starfleet hasn't said. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
Save spot, please. We're out of time. Whoa, he kinda yeeted. Voyager. Yeah, no, it's kind of got
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment.
an Enterprise D sort
I'd
of
like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek,
horseshoe at the back.
First Officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
Ease, Bajorn.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our Tactical Officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time, and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done.
I don't know what to say. That's incredibly flattering, thank you.
I hope someday I can follow in your footsteps.
I'm sure you will.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Save point? We don't need a save point. We'll just end the episode here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, remember to hit the like button, keep the conversation going in the comments, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. And until next time, I hope you have a good day.